feel a sneeze coming on. Oh, bless me. Whew. Hey, y'all. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Facebook, I don't know what's going on with Facebook, but lately, when I go live on Facebook, my live will crash. It will crash over here on Facebook. So I'm thinking about moving my Facebook live to YouTube, because I'm working on building over there. Hey y'all, hey y'all, hey y'all, how y'all doing? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Welcome to another daily devotion. Welcome to another daily devotion. I'm really thinking about moving my Facebook live to YouTube, because I'm working on building up my YouTube. And now I got enough followers now I can go live on YouTube. So I'm going to go live on TikTok and I'm going to go live on YouTube probably starting Monday. So if you're one of my active followers over here on Facebook, starting Monday when I come back and go live, I'm going to be live on YouTube. So I'm going to post it. That way you can go to YouTube, because I don't know, Facebook be crashing. I don't know. In the middle of my live, if you was on my live last night on Facebook, then you saw that my live crashed. I don't know why, and it ended abruptly. I have no idea. But we were still over here going strong on TikTok. So going forward, I'll be going live on YouTube and TikTok. So today's daily devotion. All right. I didn't say all the formalities. Y'all come on in, come on in, come on in. Like my live, share my live, because y'all never know who may need what it is that I have to say. Welcome to Daily Devotion. Today's topic is called Growth is About Enlargement. Growth is about enlargement. And it's coming from Psalm 18th chapter 36 verse. You enlarge my path. Read these enlargement scriptures. You enlarge my path. Jabez called on God of Israel, saying, "Oh, that you would enlarge my territory. Enlarge the place of your tent. Lengthen your cords and strengthen your stakes." Isaiah 54:12. God wants to enlarge you spiritually, emotionally, rationally, and in every area of your life. But to experience enlargement, you must learn from people larger than you. Dr. John Maxwell writes, "The first 10 years that I was intentionally pursuing personal growth, I was always behind, trying to catch up. I had to get over the comparison gap. I recognized I needed to be exposed to a bigger and better leaders outside of my own circle. But when I stepped out of my comfort zone, I was intimidated. It was clear that I was not in their league. Their organizations were 6 times the size of mine, and they had many more and much better ideas than I did. I felt like I was in over my head and trying to swim. Despite that, I was encouraged. Why? Because I discovered that great men were willing to share their ideas, and I was learning so much. You can only learn if others are ahead of you. It was a difficult transition, but it was well worth it. So if you are aware that others are better than you, don't be discouraged. Be glad that others are there to help show you the way. Growth is not a rocking chair you sit in. It's a mountain you climb each day. But there is good news. As Jim Rohn said, you cannot change your destination overnight, but you can change your direction overnight. This was for me, okay? I don't know who, if it was for you, put it in the comments if this was for you. If you felt this, 'cause Because it's something like, I didn't pray about it, but it was on my mind. Because I don't know, lately, some things that God been answering for me, it wasn't things that I necessarily prayed about. I just thought it. And then God would have somebody, he'll put somebody in my path to bring that to pass. I don't even pray about it. I would just think it. And he would have somebody do it. Like, Christmas time, I had both of our little ones make a list of what they wanted for Christmas, right? And so our daughter, she put, like, she was real specific, and I thought that was, I was shocked by how specific she was. But she said she wanted 6 or 9 dresses, because she loved to wear dresses and she loved to wear skirts. So she said she wanted 6 or 9 skirts and something else she had want, right? We end up going to my husband's aunt's house, right? And all of a sudden, I mean, it had to have been a couple of days of her writing the list, and all of a sudden, her aunt was like, "Don't you got some dresses in there that Amaya can fit?" And I was like, "What? Okay." And so she ended up getting like 5 dresses that night. and I was like, "Okay, Lord, all right." And then with my son, he made his list, and of course, like, I wasn't even asking. First of all, I didn't even tell nobody what was on the list, and unless somebody asked me like what they want. But outside of that, I didn't. And like, people would just buy it. Like, on his list, I put, and even with her list, I put a pair of Nikes on her list, and her cousin ended up giving her some Nikes. The baby, I had Nikes on his list, and his sister ended up buying him some Nikes. Y'all see? So with this today, it said growth is about enlargement. It was something that I was thinking about my mentor. And I was like, should I move forward with a mentor? Like, that's what I was thinking for the past couple of days. I was like, should I because I'm kind of feeling stuck-ish. So it made me start thinking about my mentor. And then hearing this is letting me know, I feel like it's God's way of letting me know that the things that he has for me to do in the ministry that he gave me, I need a mentor. I need to get serious with my mentor. I need to get serious with my mentor, basically. Now I need to know, because I got 2 mentors for 2 different areas of my life. I got a mentor with my health and wellness business, and I got a mentor with my Grieving Gracefully ministry. Now I got to pray, because I'm having this revelation as I'm talking to y'all. Now I got to pray to see where he want me to go. TikTok, y'all stay, like, I see y'all on here. Can y'all like my live? Like, y'all, come on, TikTok. Y'all know we be having more likes than this, okay? I'm gonna need y'all to come on and sit here for 30 seconds and tap that screen and get these likes up over here. I got 6 people on here, and we can't get no likes over here. Come on, TikTok. Come on. I don't know which one it is. Thank you for the follow. I will follow you back once I get off my live. Thank you, Mona. Thank you, SJB, for liking my live. I know I probably got some new people on here, and for the new people, I have a new ministry. Like, this is a ministry I'm still getting. I'm just getting started in this ministry after we lost our oldest son 2 years ago, and God has ushered me into this ministry called Grieving Gracefully, where I show people how to How even though God doesn't answer your prayer the way you want him to, you can still love and trust on him. Even though I lost my son, I still love, trust, depend on God and go to him for everything. Like, I never turned my back. I never got mad at him because we lost our oldest son. Like, I never did any of that. But God ended up, the way I grieved was so different. People started coming to me because of the strength that God gave me and trying to figure out, how am I able to talk to y'all? How am I able to move forward? How am I able to get on with life with losing a child? Because he was our oldest son. At the time, he was 18. He was a senior in high school, and he unalived himself 1 week after his 18th birthday. He turned 18 December 21st, 2022, and he unalived himself December 28th, 2022. And last year, I really started walking into my purpose. Like, this is not what I expected, and that's why I feel like God wants me to get serious with my mentor. Because it is so new for me. Like, imagine you done went to school, you done all the things, you got all this education, you're working in your field, God tell you to leave your job, you left your job, and while you home, you're a stay-at-home mom now. You do, but I do have a health and wellness business, but for the most part, I'm a stay-at-home mom, and then you lose your child. So then I lost my child, and then I get pushed into a ministry that has nothing to do with my education. Thank you so much, No Way. It has nothing to do with my education because I was a paralegal for 10 years. It has nothing to do with my education. Like, now I'm a newly published author. I published a guided grief journal actually on the 2-year anniversary of the passing of our son this past December. God gave me, he told me to put what I was doing to get through my grief. He told me to put it inside of a journal to help other people grieve gracefully. So that's one lane. I done wrote a guided journal. And then I'm a public speaker now. Like, I'm getting asked to be on to speak at events. I'm being asked to be on podcasts. I've been on a TV show. Like, it's a whole new thing for me. This is new for me. So when it says sometimes, where is it? God wants he wants to enlarge you spiritually, emotionally, rationally, and in every area of your life. But to experience enlargement, you must learn from people larger than you. Hey James, how you doing? So I must learn from people that's larger than me. That's why I say this particular daily devotion has confirmed what I was thinking. I didn't necessarily pray about it, but I felt like God answered it anyway. Excuse me, I don't know who else is like that. Oh, James, why are you on here? Why are you on here? Amaya wants to sing the song on Sunday. So be prepared Sunday. Because she wants to sing the song on Sunday, okay? So be prepared. My bad, y'all. This is our piano player at my church I'm talking to. And he just happened to get on the live. And she told me the other day that she wants to sing the song. Okay. So we're going to sing the song Sunday. But sometimes we are pushed into things that may not necessarily be what we want. And in order for us to get to where we need to be, we're going to need to get a mentor. We're going to need to get outside of our circle of friends and get around people who've done what we're trying to do. so that we can grow. What the topic is, growth is a part of enlargement. How can I ask God to enlarge my territory when I won't move from outside of my circle and go to my mentor who has done what I'm trying to do? Y'all get me? Y'all got me? So I really got to step outside of my comfort zone, because it's something she been telling me to do and I haven't done it yet. And it seems like we've been missing each other. That might be why I'm feeling like I'm all over the place but nowhere at the same time. Y'all ever felt like that? Like, you know what you're supposed to be doing, but when you go to try it, you're all over the place. And the thing is, I'm a type of person that work off a list. So I have to write out what needs to be done. Like, that's something that I used to do when I was working as a paralegal. I would write down what needs to be done and check it off as I go. So I've done that, and it's still like I'm all over the place except for where I need to be. I need to call my mentor. That's what it is. I have to call her, because we had a time schedule and I don't know what happened. We were supposed to meet and we ended up, I don't know what happened. We ended up not meeting. I know y'all see me doing these long pauses. It's because I'm having a revelation while I'm on here with y'all. And this is what happens when I be on when we do daily devotions. I will read this and then it's like God is speaking to me about my situation. Grief did that for me. I forgot everything when before I remember. Yeah, it seemed like it got worse. And I saw somebody had spoke about this the other day on Instagram. And I was like, I didn't know grief make you lose your memory. Now, I knew about mom brain because I was already suffering from mom brain. I already had it. Because, like, before we lost our son, I was literally just coming out of postpartum depression. So I had the mom brain. I was going through postpartum depression. And when I started feeling like myself again, bam, we lost our child. And so now it's not even me trying to get back to who I used to be, because God already told me that I'll never be that person again. And that's why I tell people, on this grief journey, I've learned that you will never be the same person you was prior to losing whoever that loved one was, whoever it was. Because I tried that. I said, I'm going back. I'm trying to feel who I used to feel before I lost my son. And God said, you'll never be that person ever again. You'll never be that. So if you're going through grief and it's a close person to you, and you've been saying you want to get back to yourself, you hate feeling like this, you'll never be that person you used to. You'll never be that person again. You hear me? You'll never be that person again. You're going to have to trust the process and go through it. And I know that because I didn't want to go through it, but I had to go through it. I had to go through the process in order for me to talk to y'all and tell y'all. If you get my journal, click the link in my bio and y'all can get the Grieving Gracefully journal. It is available on Amazon. But you can click the link in my bio and it'll take you directly to the journal. It's the first button on there, and it says Grieving Gracefully Journal. That you all can go in there and purchase it. But I put in there what I did. to get to where I am now. And the first thing and my favorite thing to talk about is forgiveness. Forgiveness is a big part of who this is. Thank you, Isaiah, Elijah, one of y'all. That's one of the hardest things that I had to do in this process. I had to forgive, and that was a crucial part of the grief process for me. And God had me do it early on. So I know I had somebody on here say you have to be ready to forgive. I wasn't ready. I saw somebody have typed when I was talking about forgiveness before. Somebody say you have to be ready to forgive, and I'm like, yeah, but I wasn't. I was not ready to forgive. God told me one morning when I got up at 5 o'clock and I was in my Jesus time, and He said, it's time for you to forgive. And this was like a month and a half after losing our child, that he told me that I needed to forgive. And I needed to forgive. He said I needed to forgive everybody that I felt wrong my son. Hey Mom, how you doing? Everybody I felt wrong my son. Everybody that I felt didn't do enough in my eyes to help him. I had to forgive myself. I had to forgive my son because he left me. I'm like, out of everybody, you left me? Me? How you leave me? Me of all people. You left me. Like, my husband and I was like, we was talking to his therapist, and his therapist was telling us to help him, like, because he was about to turn 18 and he was seeing a therapist, that we needed to start preparing him, for life. I mean, we was already doing it, but I'm just saying during this time, we're preparing him for if something happens to us. Not me thinking that I have to figure out life hold up, y'all. Figure out life without him. Whew. Like, that's what we do as parents. We raise them up and we try to teach them about life, because we know that we're not going to always be there. So we're trying to prepare them for life without us. And then God flipped it. God flipped it. And I had to learn, we had to learn how to live without him. Whew. Like my oldest son, our oldest son, like, we're a blended family, and we had kids ranging from, like, if he was still here today, we had kids from 20 to 4 if he was still here today. Because it just so happened that my husband had his oldest daughter and I had my oldest son. We had them 3 weeks apart. They born the same month, same year, 3 weeks apart. So both of them was turning the same age. So that's how we get two 20-year-olds. I know sometimes when I say it, people think we had twins, but no, we just so happened to have kids the same month, different year, and we didn't even know each other back then. So he was my only child for 13 years. So for 13 years, it was just me and him until I met my husband. No, I met my husband before that. I met my husband, he was 9 or 10. 9 or 10. I met my husband. But he was the only child for 13 years. Hey, Joy to Joyous, how you doing? And for the child that I went through life with, thank you so much for the gifts. The child that I went through life with, well, I had him at 21. I'm now 41. And to have to learn how to go through life without him, that was hard. So anything that I talk about on my page, even though it's easy for me to talk about, it got easy after I went through it. Like, God took me on this process where he molded me, he separated me, he bended me, he pushed me. He took me on this whole long process in order for me to get to where I am today, to talk to y'all. And with reading today's daily devotion, growth is about enlargement. God is now telling me, in order for me to go higher, I don't know who else need to hear this, but in order for me to go higher, I need to step out of my comfort zone. And I need to get around more people who have done more than what I did. I need to get around people who has done what I'm trying to do, what he has called me to do. It was okay last year with me just stepping into it a little bit, with me speaking. I need to hear it. God bless you. Juneteenth GA Coalition. I'm glad you needed to hear it too. So I stepped into it a little bit with me speaking at events and me being on TV and speaking on podcasts. But I know God has something more for me. I don't know what it is. But in order for me to get there, I got to separate again. I have to separate myself again. Y'all know how hard it is to separate yourself from people? It is hard. It is hard. It was hard to separate myself from my friends when God first started taking me on this journey after because my core friends that I've known these group of people since I was in the 8th grade. My core friends, I've known them since I was in the 8th grade. And they was with me all through this. And they carried me all throughout this process. Y'all, my friends was with me, so when it came to planning my son's funeral, I couldn't do it. I let them do it. I let my friends do it. Like that's how close we are. Like, I don't think y'all understand. Like, my friends, when I say they took the burden from me, when somebody stressed me out, I told my friend, I'm like, y'all, I need y'all to handle up. I can't. Like, my friends did so much for me, and I'm forever grateful for them. That I don't think they understand what they did for me. Because my son was like, their nephew. So when they took on helping planning for my son's funeral so that I could grieve and try to figure out what I'm going through, like, that was major for me. And then after them helping me through that, and then for God to say, all right, now I done let you hang with your friends, now it's time for me to separate you because I got some things for you to do. That's hard. And now he's telling me again In order for me to get to the next level, because I don't went one level, in order for me to get to the next level, I got to separate myself again. It's hard, but it's worth it. It's worth me telling my testimony. And for people to, yes, separation is definitely necessary. It's hard, but if more people can hear my testimony and I help more people come to Christ, it's all worth it. It's all worth it. How can I not want to do more? How can I not want to enlarge my territory so that I can help more people? Because not everybody grieves the way I grieve. Because when I lost my son, so many people in my city are losing children. Let's put it like that. So many people in my city is losing children. And I understand that none of us grieve the same. But if I can help them with my story, then I will talk more. Thank you, Juneteenth GA Coalition. I appreciate you. If I can help, I will continue to tell my story. I will continue on this journey that God has me on. Like I tell people, I'm learning and I'm taking y'all with me. I'm learning and I'm taking y'all with me. Because for the past couple days, no, I'm gonna say all week, I felt like God was silent. I'm like, Lord, I ain't hear from you. I don't feel like I heard from you since Monday. And I'm like, I normally hear you every day. Like, it's a little quiet over here. It's a little weird. And then for me to think something for the past 2 days, and then for me to read my daily devotion with y'all today, and he answered my thought, because I never prayed about this. I never prayed and asked him, should I go back to my mentor? Do I need, I didn't. I just thought it. And he answered it. I think that it blows my mind, because I thought that you had to pray for him to answer it. Like, I thought you had to pray for him to answer what you need, and for me to think of what I need to do, and then God answer me without me even having to pray about it. It's mind-blowing to me. That's the same thing happening. No tour away, that is blowing my mind, because it's like every time I think of something, I don't even tell my husband. I don't even have time to tell him, and next thing I know, by the time I go to tell him, God done put somebody in the way to answer whatever I was thinking. His favor is in you. Thank you, Lord, for favor. Because we was talking about favor. We was talking about favor yesterday. I asked one day, finally, why in my mind. I did that too. With my situation, I did that too. And he blew my mind. And later on, when I forgot to ask, I was just walking. That's why I tell people, ask God why. It's okay. Chosen for, yes. Ask God why. Why something happened. I know a lot of times they were like, we can't question God. But with losing my son, a lot of people, like my cousin, she's a minister, and she was like, she told me, she was like, ask him why. And I was like, I don't need to ask him why. And then after a while, she was like, ask him why. And I heard some more people tell me to ask why, and I was like, okay. And the answer came, this was the only way. That was one of the things he told me. For his glory, chosen for a time such as, yes. He and that's, I say that a lot too, for his glory. Like, I say that a lot, that I was created for such a time as this. But when I asked God why I had to lose my son, he told me he lost his too. He was like, well, I lost mine. And I was like I bust out laughing. I was in my kitchen because I didn't even get the whole why out my mouth. It's like, you know how you kind of thinking something and you about to say it, but you don't fully do it. And by the time he immediately came back and said, but it happened to me though. So how can I be mad about losing my child when God tell me, but he lost his too, because he sent Jesus down here to die for our sins? So how can I be mad? He comforted me and let me know that he went through it too. So he know how I feel. I never asked why. I only wanted him to speak to my purpose in this season. So trust God. Oh, I understand. I never asked why. I asked why in my situation. And then when I had all the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, like, maybe because it happened when we was at home and I was here with the younger with our younger ones at the time. The baby was 2 and our daughter was 5. And just a little snippet of what happened that day. The police showed up to the door to come and get him for some crimes that he did. He was washing dishes in the kitchen, and I saw him out my peripheral walk from the kitchen while I was at the door, walk to his room. And I'm talking to the officer trying to figure out why they at my house, because unbeknownst to me, I didn't know he was out there doing anything. You know how you know your child is doing something, because he was sneaking out of the house. I just didn't know exactly what he was doing. So I knew he was doing something, but I thought he was just like going to basketball games with his friends. Like, this is what I'm thinking he's doing when he's sneaking out of the house. I didn't think he's out there committing crimes. And while I'm talking, and before the officer could tell me why they're there, they said his name. But one of the officers said, "Is that a pew pew?" I say, "What?" And I ran to his room, and he was already gone. I didn't even go in. I just stood at the door. So when I think about that, then all the shoulda, coulda, woulda start coming in my mind. Like, I wonder if he would do it if I was standing there. I wonder if one of his siblings had to walk past, would he have still done it? Like, if he was looking at me in my face, would he still be able to do that? And God told me it was going to happen anyway. It was going to happen whether he was home with me or when they took him to jail. It was going to happen. So there was nothing that I could do to prevent it from happening. I trusted him with what he trusted me with, and my son had finished his purpose, so why not me? Right. And that's where I am now. And that's where I am now. Because, hey Kelly, how you doing? It's like, I tell people, I was praying for my son to have the testimony, not me. I was praying, asking God for him to have a complete turnaround. I thought I blocked you the other day. And I was praying and asking God for him to have a complete turnaround so he could come from out of the street and tell his testimony to the other young men in our community so that they can like come off the street too. So he can, graduate from high school, go back to school, get his get a basketball scholarship because he was a basketball star. But I was like, instead of him having a testimony, God flipped it and gave me the testimony instead. And I was like, since there's nothing that I can do to get him back here, there's nothing I can do. He'll never come back. I might as well walk into this purpose that he gave me. Because this is the thing, y'all. In 2019, I asked God what was my purpose. I asked him what was my purpose in 2019. And in 2024, I walked into it. In 2024, I walked into my purpose. And now I have my ministry. Grieving Gracefully. And this is the journal that I created. It's a guided grief journal. It's a 30-day journal. But I tell y'all, I talk about forgiveness. And everything is backed by scripture. Everything is backed by scripture. See, that's the thing. See, with my purpose, I asked him about it in 2019. Because in 2019, when you were, before we had TikTok, a lot of people was offering courses and stuff. And it was like, if you, pay $1,500, I can help you find your purpose. That's what a girl told me. And I was like, I know I ain't got to pay nobody $1,500 to show me my purpose. So I went to the Lord and I was like, Lord, this lady tell me she'll charge me $1,500 and she'll help me find my purpose. I know I ain't got to pay that. Lord, what is my purpose? Not like, how you say a prayer, but then you walk away and don't pay attention to, like, you pray, I'm like, okay, I don't pray about it. And that's what I did. I prayed, I left it. In that same year, me and my husband was getting married. God say, leave your job. I say, did he really tell me that? God ain't tell me that. We're planning a wedding. He didn't tell me to leave my job. No, he didn't tell me to leave my job. We got married September 7th, 2019. 2020 came. They start talking about COVID and all of that. I'm still working at my job as a paralegal. March came. And I took a pregnancy test. And I was pregnant. And I was like, the Lord say, leave your job. I say, he for real? I was like, he for real want me to leave my job? Where my money gonna come from? You want me to leave my job for real? Where my money gonna come from? Leave my job. And then next thing you know, like, I found out I was pregnant and went to the doctor to confirm it. And the next day, that's when they shut the world down and nobody couldn't go nowhere. Nobody could leave their home or nothing like that. And I was like, oh, you serious for real? I need to come home for real, for real. Oh, you said, I told you in 2019 and you ain't listening to me. So in 2020, okay, I'm going to put it where you ain't got no other choice but to do what I say. And that's what he did. So I left my job July 1st was the last time I worked on a job. And I was trying to figure out, I'm like, why you want me to leave my job? And then fall of 2020, that's when the kids was virtual and they was on the computers and doing their schoolwork from home. So I was trying to understand, like, I'm like, oh, okay, so this is why he had me come home, is because the kids had to be homeschooled, so I needed to be there because at the time in 2020 our daughter was 3, and she actually had in-person school, but the first 2 weeks of school, she had to do virtual at 3 because one of the teachers had came around all the teachers, and now because the teacher had COVID and came around all the teachers, everybody had to do 2 weeks at home. So I was able to be home with her. And then if you had a high schooler that was virtual, then you understand that I had to put my foot on his neck and wake him up. Every time I turn around, he done got back into bed. And I had to set up a desk in his room in order to get him out the bed, for him to sit at his desk to ensure that he wasn't falling asleep in class. And I didn't find out until last month during one of my daily devotions that God told me he brought me home in 2020 because he wanted me to spend more time with my son. He wanted me to have more time because he knew if I was working, I would have limited time with him. So he brought me home so that I can have more time with him, because he knew in 2020 I would no longer have him. And then once I lost him, December 28, 2022, that's when God started molding me and shaping me. And I still didn't understand that this was a part of my purpose. It wasn't until one of my mentors in my health and wellness business, and she was like, Sally, you grieve differently. Like she helped me come up with the name Grieving Gracefully. Like she gave me that. I always tell people, like, I don't take no credit for my ministry name Grieving Gracefully, because she saw my purpose already. She saw that I would be helping people with grieving gracefully. So when me and her was talking one day and she told me the name, I was like, okay, I like that. And so that's what I took on, Grieving Gracefully. And that's when my ministry started. And then now I have a book. I'm a published author that I started walking in last year, because over the summer last year, like I never thought about being an author. Never. I never want to write a book ever. That's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a lawyer. That's what I really wanted to be. Thank you, No Tourway. Like I wanted to be a lawyer. I didn't want to be an author. And then when people started asking me to be on their podcast, I was like, okay. Like I didn't understand why people want me to be on the podcast. Like it wasn't until one of the pastors that asked me to be on her TV show, because she got a Christian talk show, and she helped me understand what it is that I was doing. And then people start asking me to speak, and I'm like, Lord, in college I purposely, y'all hear me? I purposely failed. I had to take public speaking twice because I didn't want to speak in front of people. I never wanted to speak in front. I used to do that. This right here. Now, mind you, I sing at church all the time. I've been singing at church since I was a little girl. I sing at church all the time. I sing solos all the time at church. But you want me to get up in front of people and you want me to talk? Lord, I failed public speaking twice on purpose. It's not that I couldn't do the work. I just didn't want to do the work. And now this is what I'm doing. So if you're trying to figure out what your purpose is, be patient. Because when I asked God in 2019 what was my purpose, I didn't think that this would be it. I didn't think that my purpose would be showing people how I grieve after losing a child. That's not what I thought my purpose was going to be. Honestly, I thought my purpose was going to have something to do with health and wellness, with me helping people lose weight and get healthy, because I helped my husband lose weight and get healthy. So that's what I thought my purpose was going to be. I did not think that this would be my purpose. So be patient. It's coming. Be patient. It's coming. It's coming when you least expect it. Somebody may come up to you and tell you about your purpose? Because that's what I had people coming to me and was like, Sallie, you writing a book? And I was like, no, I ain't writing no book. Like, one of my friends was like, Sallie, you writing a book? And I was like, no, I'm not. Like, I don't know where you're getting that from. Like, why do people keep telling me that? I'm not writing a book. And she was like, Sallie, you writing a book? And I'm like, no, I'm not. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go to the Lord. Let me go pray. And I asked the Lord. And a couple months later, he said, I need you to do a guided grief journal. Oh, goodness. So something that I kept telling people, no, I'm not doing. No, I'm not. I end up doing. So be patient. Your purpose may be something very different than what you're thinking it will be. And be patient. Because just like you were trying to figure out, you say you're still trying to figure out what your purpose is. Be patient. Keep praying about it. Hold on. It's coming. And when it comes, be ready. Be ready. Okay? I pray that you all were blessed by today's daily devotion. Growth is about enlargement. And it's letting us know that we have to get outside of our circle and get around other people that have done what it is that we are doing, what we want to do. Your purpose could very well be to understand life, balance, and trust God to show you how to walk by faith. Yeah, I feel like that journey He been taking me on since I left my job in 2020. Because, like, when I first left, like, I've been praying about stuff, but it wasn't until when I realized that I'm really walking into this purpose that He gave me that I really was like, okay, I have to make sure that I'm obedient. I have to make sure that I'm in alignment with God, because if I'm out of alignment, then I can't. It's like I've been out of alignment recently. Then I feel stuck and I don't know what to do. So I got serious about fully trusting God last year and really depending on Him for everything. But in order could be like puzzle pieces. You're right, it could be like puzzle pieces. Wherever it is that you want to go, you're going to have to separate yourself from your friends and get around people who have done it. And you might be intimidated by what they have. But it's okay. Be encouraged. Because y'all start sharing ideas and you'll start learning so much. You can only learn if others are ahead of you. He knows He can trust you. That's what I'm learning for His glory. That's what I'm learning. So just like Jim Rohn said, you cannot change your destination overnight, but you can change your direction overnight. I pray that you all were blessed by today's daily devotion. I go live Monday through Friday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I go live on TikTok, and starting Monday, I'm going to be live on YouTube instead of Facebook because Facebook be glitching over here. So I will see y'all back here Monday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. See y'all later. Bye-bye.